How do you make progress every day, no matter what? That's the question. Because life doesn't wait for you to have everything lined up just right. It doesn't pause until you're feeling fresh, energized, or full of confidence. Life moves forward. Like a ticking clock, like the sun coming up whether you're ready or not. And the key to real success, real fulfillment, is making sure you're stepping forward with it. Now, progress doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to make headlines. It doesn't even need to be noticed by anyone but you. But it must be steady, a little bit each day. Because the biggest changes in life don't come from one bold move or some lucky break. They come from simple daily disciplines, stacked one on top of the other like pages filling a notebook, like bricks building a foundation. Most people, they're waiting. Waiting for the inspiration to strike, waiting for the right season, waiting for some kind of signal. But let me tell you something. Motivation is a fickle friend. The perfect time. It's like a bus that never arrives. And feeling ready. That's a mirage. The people who make it, the ones who build a life of value and substance, aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who made progress anyway. So how do you do it? How do you keep moving forward when you're tired, when life throws a curveball, when the results aren't coming as fast as you'd like? That's what we're going to talk about. Not theories, not wishful thinking, but real, practical ways to make sure you walk away from each day with something to show for it. Because at the end of the day, progress is a decision. And once you understand how to create momentum, how to build it and sustain it, nothing can stop you. Progress begins with one simple shift. You must stop negotiating with yourself. Most people wake up and start bargaining with their own mind. Should I get up or hit the snooze on that alarm clock? Should I go for that morning jog or stay under the warm covers? Should I sit down and work on my future, or can it wait another day? And here's the problem. When you give yourself an option, you give yourself an excuse. Discipline isn't about waiting until you feel like doing something. It's about making a decision and sticking to it, rain or shine. Successful people don't sit around debating whether they should take action. They just do it. Because the moment you start negotiating, you lose. The mind will always take the easy road, always look for a way out. That's why you can't rely on motivation. Motivation fades. But here's the secret. The first decision of the day sets the rhythm for everything that follows. Win the morning and you build momentum. Lose the morning and suddenly excuses start running the show. So how do you take control? You make your standards non-negotiable. Not up for discussion, not dependent on how you feel when you wake up. They become just what you do. You get up at the time you said you would. You go for that morning walk, hit the weights, stretch, whatever you committed to. Even when you'd rather sleep in, you work on your goals even when no one is watching. And over time, this builds something most people lack: self-respect. See, confidence isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's about trust. Do you trust yourself to follow through? Most people don't. They've made so many empty promises to themselves that they no longer believe their own words. But here's the good news. You can rebuild that trust every time you keep your word, even in the smallest way. Waking up on time, finishing that page in your notebook, making that one extra sales call. You prove to yourself that you mean what you say. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest things that kills progress. The all or nothing mindset. The idea that if you can't do something perfectly, you might as well not do it at all. This thinking is dangerous because life is unpredictable. Things change, plans get interrupted. And if your success depends on perfection, you're setting yourself up for failure before you even begin. The key to daily progress is this. Something is always better than nothing. Don't have time for an hour at the gym. Do 10 push-ups. Can't read a whole chapter. Read 2 paragraphs. Not feeling like working on your business. Write one idea down, make one phone call, send one letter. The point isn't perfection, it's motion. Because motion keeps you in the game. Think of it like this. If you improve by just 1% every day, you won't just be 365% better in a year. No, it compounds. You'll be over 37 times better. That's the power of daily discipline. Small, consistent actions stack up over time, and before you know it, you've built something unstoppable. Now, there's one more thing that's crucial to making progress every day. You need to control your focus. Because what you focus on expands. Most people waste time worrying about things they can't control. They focus on what's missing. They dwell on what's wrong. And where does that energy go? Nowhere. It's like trying to drive cross country while staring in the rearview mirror. You're not going to get very far. But the people who make progress, no matter what, they focus on what they can do. They focus on solutions, not problems. They put their attention on action. They ask, what's the next step? Instead of, why is this happening to me? So ask yourself, what are you focusing on every day? Are you spending time thinking about what you can't do? Or are you looking for ways to move forward? Because progress isn't about luck. It's about choice. And here's something you need to understand. Momentum is powerful. Once you start moving, it gets easier to keep moving. Once you break through that initial resistance, you realize it was never as big as you made it out to be. The problem. Most people never get there. They hesitate. And hesitation is a killer. Hesitation doesn't just slow you down. It stops you completely. It's the reason people stay stuck for years, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to feel ready. But if you want real progress, you don't wait. You start. You take action. And before you know it, you're moving faster than you ever thought possible. Think about the times you hesitated in life. Maybe you wanted to speak up, but you waited too long. And the moment slipped away. Maybe you wanted to take action, but you second-guessed yourself, and before you knew it, the opportunity was gone. That's what hesitation does. It steals time, it steals progress, and if you let it, it will steal your future. Progress requires decisiveness, not perfect decisions, just decisions. You don't need to have everything figured out to move forward. You just need to take the next step. Because momentum doesn't come from knowing. It comes from doing. And the best way to beat hesitation, shorten the gap between thought and action. The longer you sit there thinking about whether or not to do something, the more likely you are to talk yourself out of it. That's just how the mind works. It looks for comfort, for the easy way out. So stop overanalyzing. If you decide to do something, move. Immediately, count down from 5 and go. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't let doubt creep in, just go. Because here's the truth. Action builds confidence, not the other way around. Most people think they need to feel confident before they act. But confidence doesn't come first. Action does. The more you do something, the better you get. The better you get, the more confident you feel. If you want to make progress every day, you have to train yourself to act despite fear. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because everything you want in life exists on the other side of that discomfort. Think about a rocket launching into space. It burns the most fuel in the first few minutes, breaking through the atmosphere. But once it's past that resistance, it moves effortlessly. That's how progress works. The hardest part is getting started. Once you break through the initial resistance, everything becomes easier. And that's why discipline is the foundation of success. Because discipline carries you when motivation fades. Motivation is like a spark. It's exciting, it gets things going. But it's not enough to keep things burning. Discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire alive. And how do you build discipline? By keeping your word to yourself. By doing the hard things even when you don't feel like it. Every time you push through discomfort, you get stronger. You train your mind to follow through no matter what. And here's the secret. Discipline is built through repetition. The more you do something, the easier it gets. The first time you wake up early, it's a battle. The 10th time, it's easier. The 100th time. It's just who you are. But what happens on the days when you don't feel like it? When you're tired? When life throws distractions your way? That's where most people fail. Because they let their emotions dictate their actions. Most people operate on feelings. If they don't feel like working out, they skip it. If they don't feel like putting in the work, they put it off. But successful people, they don't rely on feelings, they rely on commitment. They show up whether they feel like it or not. They do the work whether it's convenient or not. They take the next step whether the conditions are perfect or not. Because feelings, they're temporary, they come and go. But results come from consistency. And consistency comes from making the right decisions every single day, no matter how small. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today, right now, that moves you forward? Because progress isn't a one-time event, it's a habit. Progress isn't about speed, it's about direction. Most people think they need to take giant leaps to succeed. They believe they have to overhaul their entire life overnight. But that's not how real success works. Real progress happens in small, steady steps. Now, here's the challenge. We live in a world that glorifies instant results. People want the quick fix. They want the secret formula. They want the rewards without the work. And because of that, they overlook the one thing that actually creates success: daily, steady improvement. But if you understand that, if you commit to the process instead of chasing shortcuts, you'll separate yourself from the crowd. Because while most people waste time looking for the easy way, you'll already be miles ahead, putting in the work, stacking wins, and building something real. But think about this. If you get just 1% better every day, the results compound. You won't just be slightly better, you'll be exponentially better. That's how mastery is built. Now let's talk about something that holds people back: overcomplication. Some people never make progress because they overthink every step. They analyze, plan, research, but they never move. They convince themselves they need the perfect strategy, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions. But perfection is a trap. It keeps you stuck. Success isn't about knowing everything. It's about taking action with what you know right now. Clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from moving. The more steps you take, the clearer the path becomes. Think of a car driving at night. The headlights only show a few feet ahead, but that's enough to keep going. You don't need to see the whole road, you just need to see the next step. Now, let's get practical. If you want to make progress every day, you must have a clear target. Most people don't lack discipline. They lack direction. They wake up without a clear idea of what they're working toward. They drift. And drifting leads to nowhere. You must set specific, measurable goals, not vague ideas, not hopeful wishes, but clear, defined targets. Instead of saying, I want to get in shape, say, I will exercise for 30 minutes every day. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, say, I will make 5 sales calls today. Now, here's something powerful. Tracking your progress. What gets measured gets improved. If you're not tracking your actions, you won't know if you're getting better or just staying busy. And here's the key. Focus on tracking your effort, not just the outcome. You can't always control results, but you can control your daily actions. Let's say you're building a business. You can't control how many customers say yes, but you can control how many people you reach out to. If you focus on consistent action, the results will follow. Now let's talk about something just as important. Your environment. Your environment plays a massive role in your progress. Most people don't fail because they lack willpower. They fail because they're surrounded by distractions, negativity, and excuses. If you're constantly around people who complain, you'll start complaining. If your environment is full of clutter, your mind will be cluttered. You must create an environment that pulls you toward progress. If you want to be healthier, fill your kitchen with healthy food. If you want to read more, put books where you can see them. If you want to stay focused, remove distractions from your workspace. Make success the easy choice, and discipline becomes automatic. Next, let's talk about resilience. Because no matter how disciplined you are, no matter how well you plan, life will test you. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. There will be days when nothing goes as planned. The key is this: don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. Don't let a small setback make you quit. If you miss a workout, don't miss the next one. If you fall off track, get back on immediately. Progress isn't about never failing. It's about never staying stuck. Every single day you have a choice. Will I move forward or will I stand still? The people who win in life, they keep moving no matter what. Because progress isn't just about action, it's about alignment. You can work hard every day, but if you're moving in the wrong direction, you won't get where you want to go. Imagine someone paddling a boat with all their strength, but they're going upstream against the current. They're exhausted, but they're not making real progress. So here's the question. Are your daily actions aligned with your ultimate vision? Many people are busy, but they're not productive. They check off tasks, they keep themselves occupied, but they're not actually moving forward. Progress isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Now, how do you make sure your actions are aligned? You must develop the habit of reflection. Most people don't stop to think. They just move from one task to the next, from one day to the next, from one day to the next, without ever asking themselves, is this the right direction? But the most successful people in the world, they take time to evaluate. Because if you don't stop to measure your progress, how do you know if you're on track? Think about a pilot flying a plane. They don't just set the course and forget about it. They constantly check their instruments, adjusting for wind, turbulence, and unexpected changes. You must do the same with your life. Progress isn't about blind effort. It's about deliberate, intentional movement in the right direction. Next, let's talk about one of the most underrated keys to progress: energy management. You can have the best mindset, the best strategy, the best habits, but if your energy is low, everything feels harder. Most people think time management is the key to success, but time is useless if you don't have the energy to use it well. So ask yourself, what gives me energy? What drains me? Pay attention to your habits, your food, your sleep, your exercise. These things matter. You can't expect to operate at a high level if you're running on fumes. If you're constantly tired, constantly sluggish, constantly distracted, you need to fix that first. Small adjustments make a huge difference. Drinking more water, moving your body, getting enough rest. These things might seem basic, but they directly affect your ability to focus, work, and make progress every day. And here's something most people overlook: mental energy. You must guard your mind the way you guard your time, because negativity, doubt, and distractions will drain you faster than anything else. Who are you listening to every day? What kind of conversations are you having? What kind of thoughts are you feeding your mind? Because here's the truth. Your environment doesn't just affect your productivity. It affects your beliefs. If you're surrounded by people who make excuses, you'll start making excuses. If you're constantly consuming negativity, you'll start seeing the world through that lens. Next, let's talk about patience. One of the biggest killers of progress is frustration. People quit too soon because they don't see immediate results. But success is never instant. Think about a bamboo tree. You plant the seed, you water it, you nurture it. But for years, nothing seems to happen. No visible growth, no reward for the effort. But underground, the roots are spreading. The foundation is being built. And then one day it shoots up, growing rapidly. This is how progress works. You might not see the results right away, but if you stay consistent, the breakthrough will come. Every day you have a choice: stay the same or move forward. And the people who win, they choose progress every single day. Because progress is not a destination, it's a way of life. Most people think they'll finally be happy once they reach their goal. They believe that once they have the success, the money, the recognition, then they'll feel fulfilled. But here's the truth. Fulfillment doesn't come from arriving, it comes from growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. Now let's talk about something that separates people who consistently progress from those who stay stuck. Standards. Your standards dictate your life, what you accept, what you tolerate, what you expect from yourself. These things shape your reality. Most people fail to progress because they set their standards too low. They tolerate inconsistency. They accept excuses. They allow themselves to settle. But the people who grow every day, they raise their standards. They don't settle for just enough. They don't settle for half-hearted effort. They demand excellence from themselves. Not because someone else is watching, but because that's who they choose to be. Now, here's something just as important as effort: rest. This might sound contradictory. How can resting help you progress? But here's the truth. You cannot sustain high performance without recovery. Progress is not about working yourself into exhaustion. It's about sustainable effort. It's about knowing when to push and when to recharge. Because if you burn yourself out, you stop making progress. If you're constantly exhausted, your productivity drops, your creativity disappears, and your body breaks down. Now let's talk about something that will take your progress to another level: giving back. One of the fastest ways to grow is to help someone else grow. To teach what you've learned, to lift someone else up. Because progress isn't just about you, it's about impact. It's about contribution. And the more you give, the more you grow. Think about a candle lighting another candle. It doesn't lose anything, it just creates more light. That's what happens when you share your knowledge, your experiences, your wisdom. And here's something interesting. Teaching something forces you to master it. It deepens your understanding, it makes you better. So as you focus on making progress every day, don't just think about what you're gaining. Think about what you're giving. Because that's where the real fulfillment comes from. And finally, let's talk about the most important mindset for lifelong progress. Gratitude. Most people focus so much on what they don't have that they forget to appreciate what they do have. And when you constantly focus on what's missing, you start to feel like you're never enough. But gratitude changes everything. It shifts your focus. It makes you realize how much you've already grown. Every day, take a moment to appreciate your progress. Even if it's small. Even if it's not where you want it to be yet. Because when you're grateful for the progress you have made, you create the mindset to keep going. So here's the bottom line. Progress is not about luck. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making a decision every single day to move forward. Not perfectly, not instantly, but consistently. And if you do that, if you commit to getting just a little better every single day, your life will transform in ways you never imagined. At the end of the day, progress is a decision. Not once, not just when you feel like it, but every single day. Because life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves whether you move with it or not. And the people who win, the people who grow, the people who build extraordinary lives, they don't wait for permission. They don't wait for motivation. They decide, they act, they move forward no matter what. Now, let's be honest. Some days it's going to be easy. You'll wake up energized, focused, inspired. You'll feel like you can take on the world. But what about the other days? What about the days when you feel tired, when life feels overwhelming, when the results aren't coming fast enough and you start to wonder if it's even worth it? Those are the days that matter most. Because anyone can move forward when it's easy. What separates the successful from the unsuccessful is the ability to keep going when it's hard. When you don't feel like it, when no one is watching, when the progress is slow, and the work is uncomfortable. That's when character is built. That's when momentum is created. That's when your future is shaped. Because here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And if your habits are built around excuses, around inconsistency, around waiting for the right time, you will never reach your potential. But if your habits are built on discipline, consistency, and daily improvement, you will be unstoppable. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today, right now, that moves you forward? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Because the truth is, you don't need another motivational speech. You don't need to read another book or watch another video before you start. You already know what you need to do. The only question is, will you do it? Because the only way to fail is to stop. So don't stop. Not today, not ever. Move forward every single day, no matter what. Because your future is waiting for you.